a bit later on. James Small, you've heard him already. We'll be chatting to Gary Teichmann a little later on, just after 5:30. We'll get him on the phone. But let's now pick up where we left off with the chat with Mac. And it all comes down to basically how much the travel is going to affect them, and how much the fact that they've got 80 minutes, they've got another 80 minutes out of a long season, how much they can actually negate that and just give their all for one last time and go and win this thing.
Yeah, I think this is where team spirit's going to get tested the most, and how good that setup that John's got going on down there. You know, they pull together, they play for each other, and put the balance out of their heads. You know what I mean? Put your body on the line. It's an old adage, but put your body on the line. You've got 80 minutes, and I believe they can pull it through. Yeah. I think they haven't gone a scientific route, and they haven't found excuses in the media. They haven't looked for any excuses. They've gone about themselves in a very professional way, and we're going to see how good that team unit is. And I think he's going to have to use his bench. He's going to have to use his bench cleverly, and I think we can pull it through.
Yeah. One of the things I have noticed about them over the last few weeks is that they've managed to shed that, I don't call it reckless, but they play a kind of risk and reward rugby.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's cost them, where just passes aren't going to hand, those 50-50 passes in tackles, which aren't working. I mean, their pick and drive game, the way they're rucking, they're mauling, everything seems more controlled, and you start feeling more confident that, you know, it's not going to go astray somewhere in the move. You always have that feeling with the Sharks that somewhere, you know, one of their little clever moves or their risk and reward moves is going to go wrong. It's a 50-50 thing. No. They really haven't suffered a lot from that in the last 3-4 weeks.
Darren, I think we can put that at the door of Freddie Michalek. I think Michalek manages the game. He realizes that we're at knockout phase now. That kind of game has got us to where we are. So there is an element of it in the game. But Michalek is managing and controlling. I think McLeod is sometimes when he behaves on his own and he goes after his own thoughts and whatever, it's a dangerous place to be. So the more control that we give to Michalek, and hopefully on the front foot, I think the less of that you're going to see. But it's final time. And, you know, if we win it by a point, I don't give a damn.
That's it. That's all you need is 1 point. And there clearly seems to be, as you say, the structure is there. They're buying into what Plum's philosophy is. There obviously are leaders on the field that have taken control. Ryan Kankowski, definitely, visibly, you can see. Yeah. He's basically one of those guys that stood up and said, right. And he's playing well. So, I mean, he's one of the key guys. And obviously, guys like Bismarck as well.
Yeah, I think Ryan, I mean, last week I gave him a little bit of a hard time, but I think Ryan is manning up. I think he realizes that he's playing for his future in South African rugby. I think he also realizes that with Pierce not in form and not playing great rugby, that there is an opportunity for him.
Well, isn't he going off to Japan or somewhere after this? I think he's gone.
Is he gone?
Which is a sad thing, because he's now stood up and he started to play. And people are saying he should actually be hanging around. Look, I mean, they could still possibly talk him into playing for the Springboks.
But the quality of rugby he's going to play over there, Darren, he's not going to be able to get up another level two. Yeah. That's sad. I didn't realize that. I didn't know that. Sorry, but I think he was playing well. Then he's going off on a good foot.
Yeah.
And that's all you can, that's all you can do at the end of the day. I'd rather be a footprint than a footnote.
Well, the good foot will be having that Super Rugby trophy in hand. I mean, that's one more to go. But then if we look at the Chiefs, Sonny Bill doing the same thing.
Well, from your mouth to God's ears, Darren, I wish it on the Sharks. They deserve it. Look, I think they've got a lot of dangerous players. I don't think we need to focus on Sonny Bill alone. I like the fact that JP's playing in the centre position. There's two physical beasts that can man up to each other. And I know JP's he's not a bungbrook, and he's a physical entity himself. So, Sonny Bill on the front foot's a dangerous character, but I think we've got as much strike power.
Simon's standing in a good place now, because let's talk about the forwards. We disagreed last week on how well the Sharks would stand up to the Storms. If you feel like clapping anyone at this point, Simon's right next to you. But do you think the travel factor is going to affect the forwards' performance, because they were massive against the Stormers last week? Can they do that again?
They were, and I must take a hiding on that one. But the big guys travel hard. It's like I said previously, the big guys, it's not easy for them. The nature of the game is more physical towards them, and it's difficult for them to get it up. I believe if Bismarck and Yanni focus, concentrate, play the game, no penalties. Yanni got loose again last week with his penalty count and that. I think if the two of them go in there focused, BC is always, you know what you're getting out of them. The two locks, you know what you're getting out of them. So it all depends on how those two guys go into that game. And I hope it's focused, controlled aggression.
Yeah. How do the Chiefs scrum man up against like what they had against the Stormers last week?
Well, I think the Chiefs scrum is a much better unit. I think their captain sits in the lock position there, so they've got, you know what I mean. They've got a man right there in the boiler room, you know, which is a big advantage for them. They've had a lot of success in that front row. The Tui, what's his name, the bald-headed prop.
Simon will find
Tuilagi.
Yeah.
He, you know, he's a character, and if you give him opportunity and you get him going like Beast got going last week, then I think we're going to be in for a long day.
Yeah. Says here, Miles, thanks a lot for the info. Kanko's got a short-term contract in Japan, only missing Currie Cup. But I think it also counts him out for the championship because I think he goes straight after Super Rugby. He goes over.
Yeah.
So the Castle Lager Championship also out of the question from what we hear for Ryan Kankowski, although maybe things will change. All right, well, look, we're going to find out, and we're going to get Gary Teichmann on the line in about 10 minutes from now, and then you and him can chat more about the Sharks' chances this weekend against the Chiefs. That final, by the way, 9:30 tomorrow morning. 9:30 tomorrow morning. Gary Teichmann on the line. We're talking in the hangout. Chiefs against Sharks, Hamilton, 9:30 kickoff tomorrow morning. I'm sure the vibe in Durban tonight is going to be pretty cool. And, of course, everyone's going to be up and out at the pubs and various places tomorrow morning early to go and watch the big final of Super Rugby. Has it been overshadowed by the Olympics for you at all?
No, well.
Hello, is that Gary? Gary, Darren, how's it going?
Darren! How are you?
All right, and you're live on BALLZ Radio this afternoon, my friend. Nice to chat to you, Tash. And James Small is sitting here listening as well.
Tash, how you, big guy?
All right, and you, James?
Yeah, good, thanks, boy.
Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Where you in Durban, I assume?
Yeah, I am. I must say I was having a drink at John Allen's bar, so it was a good time to leave.
There we go. We gave an excuse. All right. We were just saying that guys will be gathering in the bars and getting themselves all geared up because of the early kickoff tomorrow, 9:30. What's the vibe in Durban like for the final? I mean, I know it's not happening there, but surely Sharks Country must be going off at the moment.
Yeah, it is. I think everyone's they're so behind the team. I think what they've achieved is fantastic, and obviously being an early morning game is not what one would like, but I know guys are getting together for breakfast, and if they start with a bang and they're winning, I'm sure it will move on to a few beers.
Yeah, I think it'll be the rest of the day, a few beers.
Lunch and supper.
And supper, all the way till the ticket tape parade. Are they planning anything if the Sharks win tomorrow? Are they planning anything during the week when the guys get back?
Darren, I haven't heard. Hopefully they would do something, because I think if they win, they've done something really special. So I would hope the union would think of something like that, but I haven't heard anything.
All right, so we'll see an open-top bus going down all those roads that Teichmann Civil's built.
There are no potholes there.
Well, that's
still
right.
under construction.
Yeah. All right, James?
Tosh, boy, the obvious question is this travel thing. What are these? You think these guys are going to be able to? Max said to me just now that it's one game too far, he thinks.
No, I thought that for the province game.
Yeah.
But they seem to be a team that, play when the odds are stacked against them, that sort of brings the best out of them. When they, like favourites, like they did against the Lions, they seem to falter. So I'm hoping. I think it might be too much. I think that it really depends on their start. If they can start really well and then just hang on, which I think we saw them do against Province.
No.
Like another 10 minutes, we might have been in trouble. But, they seem to be a team that works under that pressure.
Another 10 games and we wouldn't be in trouble against that lot, Taish.
Where's my mic?
Unfortunately,
Give me a mic.
I think unfortunately they thought they had it before the game.
Yeah, well, that might have been one of the problems with them. So we have some Stormers supporters here. None of them have a microphone. It's a fantastic Friday evening. Fantastic. James?
Tosh, what's his name? The forwards, the front row. I think they won it for us against the Stormers. I was actually pointed. Darren and I had a conversation, and I said we were going to lack something up front in the top 5 because the big guys don't travel well. But they surprised me, and I think that's where it's all going to start again tomorrow. Eh?
Yeah, I think they've been good all year. I think. I mean, having a Springbok front row obviously helps. I thought where I was quite surprised was the sort of lineouts. You know, with Becker there and that, I thought we were going to really struggle there, and we seemed to manage it. But you know what it's like. And John, if you want me to bring him in now, he'll tell you that it all starts up the front.
Our show ends at 6.
Yeah, we don't have time. Sorry, Tosh.
To be honest, I don't think he'll come for the interview.
Can he speak still?
Where's his bar, Tosh? Where's his bar?
Okay.
Where's his bar?
He's at the new stadium. You know, it's above a gym centre, so it doesn't suit him.
Not ideal, eh? He's got a conscience when he walks down the stairs.
You've got to walk through a high-performance area and then to get to the bars.
He probably tells everyone he goes to gym every day then.
Are they renaming the stadium the John Allen instead of the Moses Mabhida now? Is that the talk in Durban?
I think he'll tell you that.
All right, that was a question from Marky Warren on Twitter. I want to know where John Allen's bar in Durban is and what's it called. So there we go, far side. You've got the answer to that question. So, Tash, separate heart from head here. Or maybe both of them are going the same way. We don't know. But tell us how you think it's going to go tomorrow.
Hey, Darren, I tend to agree with Mac. I think it's one step too far. I think the amount of travelling they've done has just been too much. At the same time, I think, you know, that Chiefs team has been consistently good all year. So I'm hoping, as you said, separate head from heart. I'm hoping that they just can start off with a good 3 minutes first half and then just hold on. I think that's the only way they'll win it.
All right, I think that's kind of what Carlos said as well. If they have to try and catch up in the second half, they're going to be done and dusted. I think we just have to put in perspective what Mac was saying as well, because he also added, I think he said in the beginning, that the way it looks is that this team doesn't know that they're traveling. They've kind of got it, they've almost got themselves into a position where they've kind of put the travel aspect aside and have just taken it on. Whatever they had to do, they've done it. And we do know that John is also, and the management team have kind of tried to keep the Sharks guys on Australian time. In other words, the same time zone and their body clocks the same time as they were when they played against the Reds, which is why they based themselves in Sydney until yesterday. Do you think that'll be a factor at all?
Yeah, I think a lot of the younger players, I think, have really, you know, they've gone with the attitude, what's bad about travelling, and I think it's picked up a lot of the senior players, and I think they had no option but to stay in Australia, and I think James will tell you that you'd rather stay in Australia than go across to Hamilton.
100%.
So I don't know if it had to do with the time zones or whatever, but rather the preference of staying in Sydney than going to Hamilton.
Yeah. One other thing, I might have brought this up as well, James, is the fact that they've stayed away from what would be a lot of hype, a lot of cowbells, and a lot of Chief-centric euphoria around them being in a home final in Super Rugby by staying in Australia. They would have missed out on that. First of all, Taish, do you think that's a good thing, or do you think they should have been there to absorb the whole atmosphere of a final?
Darren, I think it doesn't. It can work both ways. I think you just have to maybe look at Hamilton, and there's not really too much to excite the team about, and so I think what they've done is the right thing. it's really a call that the coach has got to make. I think being in Sydney, the guys were a bit more relaxed, and it's only a sort of 2-hour flight across, and I think what they've done is right.
James?
Well, yeah, I think the height of excitement in Hamilton is one guy walking down the main road with a cowbell in his hand. So I don't think they've missed out on much. It's got to be the pimple on the bum of the world.
Yeah.
But I think they've done well. Being in Sydney's an exciting place. There's things to do in Sydney. You feel like you're thereabouts. 2 hours on a plane.
And no one's talking rugby there.
Kick some butt and get on. That's it. Finished.
Yeah. All right, cool. So, any final words, Tash, before we let you go?
I think that I think it's quite a special team that have really showed some character and without blowing our hoot out, I think I was fortunate to play in some of the Sharks team that had that same sort of character. And normally you see it more on defence than on attack. And, there were a number of times last week, the week before, where they were right on the line and the guys were just throwing their bodies on the line. So as an ex-player, it's just been great to see that come out. And, hopefully the powers that be can build on this. And whether they win or lose, they've achieved a hell of a lot this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, well said, Tosh.
Well, may it happen. One more 80 minutes, that's all. And Steve Walsh is there, so let's just say it. One more 82 minutes. Play 82 minutes, guys. Remember, same referee. Tice, nice to chat to you. All the best. Enjoy Friday evening and, of course, tomorrow morning in Durban. And hopefully we might all be in Durban next week for a open bus parade or something of that sort.
Cheers, guys. Cheers, James. Cheers.
Thanks, boy. Thank you, eh?
Cheers.
Ciao. There's Gary Teichmann, former Springbok and Shark skipper, joining us on the Hangout this afternoon. Your prediction, Mr. Small?
Oh boy, I've got to stay with that Irish thing that I did last
go.
week. I've got to funk the fact that they've got
I'm
all
very
the
impressed.
cards.
After 3 beers, and you managed to say "funk the fact" and get it out properly. That's awesome.
But yeah, they're going to be up against it. Like everybody's thinking, they got to get up early. If they're too far behind with 20 minutes to go, it's too much of a burden to carry for me. But get up early. We've got JP on form. We've got good footballers and a positive attitude.
Awesome stuff. Thanks for being in the Hangout again with us.
Thanks, big guy.
And hopefully that Irish thing does work. I'm just thinking about a game that they played against the Chiefs. It was a few years ago. Leila Masanga was playing wing. And I remember they did I think it was for 20 minutes in the end. They were 34 summing up, and the Chiefs came back. And they held out in that game. I think Masanga was, JP actually put Masanga out in the corner to save the game for them. I've got that in the back of my mind, and I've got a feeling it'll be a similar scenario tomorrow.
But the Tosh is 100% right. What they've done is they've defended well 5 yards out, and they've broken and demoralised sides by that defence.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the same tomorrow.
Looking forward to
We the best on 3. 1, 2, 3. We the best.
2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mondays to Fridays live on BALLZ.co.za. BALLZ.co.za.